Is it safe to define your characters as two people doing everything they can not to be like their families? To try to establish a generation of sanity and hope?
I think that's the younger generation's goal always, right? Yes. To be better than the last. Yeah, I think they're trying to do that, right?
Yeah, I think they're failing, though. Yeah. I think they're a lot more like their parents than they
more
are.
gracefully than others.
Right. Well, failing gracefully is no better than failing clumsily. That's what they say.
Why don't they just run away?
That's a good point.
They kind of try to, I think. But it's hard to. You know, it's hard to run away from family. Your family has this kind of magnetic pull on you.
Especially when they tie magnets around your neck and pull you with other magnets.
And other means of straps. And
all kinds of mechanisms to literally hold you down.
It's that kind of thing.
What's essentially wrong with the Bluth family? Is it just the fact that they can never get over the fact that they had these glory days, and or is there genuinely insanity lurking in these genes?
There's no trust.
At all.
Among anyone in the family. Like, nobody trusts each other. That seems like that would make you paranoid, make you crazy.
And I think they're all terrified of being broke, but what that comes from is just lack of power. They all want to have complete control always, and are kind of don't really think ahead before they do any choice. It's kind of just whatever is going to get me here fast enough, and it always ends up blowing up in their faces.
And most of them are stupid.
Yeah,
really
most
stupid.
of them are.
Yeah.
They're either stupid or weak. So
stupid or
it's either
weak.
one or the other.
Or in some cases,
stupid and
neither.
Weak. In your case, you're often put in a role of almost being father to your dad, right? Your father's supposed to be, Michael's supposed to be this sane center in the family, but you, as his son, see these glimpses of ineptitude on his part, and you try to help him along, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same disease that Michael has of thinking that he's actually taking care of everyone or responsible for other people. I think George Michael has that for his dad, especially in this season. He really kind of takes on a paternal role, which is just a state of mind, though. It's not really the situation. He's just actually going crazy in the same way his dad is.
And this season, you guys had this interesting relationship where we can't use any spoilers for the people that have not seen this, but we can say that you go very close. That that there's the alliance firms up, right?
Alliance.
Yeah, you can say the alliance firms up.
Yeah, you could say that maybe they hadn't worked out in a while.
Right.
And they decided to get back in shape.
Yeah.
But never ran the triathlon.
Right.
Right?
No, but they did the training.
They did the training. They did the training, but they never made it to the finish line.
But they stayed home.
Yeah, but they stayed home instead and binged.
Back in 2004, this show won the Emmy Award for Best Comedy Series after a season when it was, this new show with low ratings but great critical praise. I'd like you to give us your thoughts of that night when that almost miracle happened, right?
Yeah.
That was such a crazy night.
Yeah, it really felt like a miracle. I was so in shock when Ellen said said the name of the show.
And we all ran up together and just looking at each other in complete shock.
I was screaming.
Yeah.
I remember I was running down the aisle with
Like a
Tony,
girl.
grabbing Tony's shoulders and screaming. I never expected it. And it didn't change a thing.
No, it really didn't. That night we were like, things are gonna change, and then it didn't for the next.
We'll see who's the lowest rated
10
show
years,
on television now.
But it helped in terms of convincing Fox to keep it on the air.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
just
it
for another 2
probably was
years.
a lifeline. Yeah.
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 Continued to be, but it disintegrated. And we drowned in the water. But now we're back.
Yeah.
We were resuscitated.
Right. We had life jackets.
If people haven't seen the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development and they are just coming into this cold, of course, on Netflix they can always go back and watch the first 3.
Yeah, which I highly recommend. Yeah.
Okay, but what do you want them to know about this show before they tune in for the first time, if they're discovering it season 4 for the first time?
Jeez. Well, anything they'd need to know they could see in the previous seasons.
Yeah, things might not make sense.
I think it'd be hard to jump in just because you don't know any of the characters or the relationships, and you'd be trying to fill in a lot of blanks that are already filled in the other season.
Yeah, or just, let the laughs Roll in.
Let the laughs roll in.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
It'd be kind
Just
of
let
like
the
jumping
laughs
into
roll.
a movie, though, like at the last half hour, I think.
Yeah,
Like it's
definitely.
a kind of one big story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This was pioneering when it first came on the air because it was something new. We hadn't seen the handheld camera, the kind of almost reality, cynical humor that's now common. Shows like Modern Family, shows like The Office have that same kind of sensibility, but you guys were the first, weren't you? It was very weird when the show first came on because there was a whole new sensibility to this.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
For network television, especially. I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm had been on, which is kind of in the same world, that cynical kind of humor. But I don't think any other network shows were doing this kind of thing. And I mean, it's kind of a tough thing to ask an audience to jump into for people who are just watching TV at home. But the people who discovered it early on, I think, saw, you know, what it was and
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
There's kind of like, when I look back on the show, a cartoony aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like it's shot in this very, you know, realistic, strange format, but the characters are almost like cartoon characters.
Totally.
And sometimes I think maybe that tone with watching it was strange for people to grasp onto at first, but then once you like get into that style, it's like very rewarding.
It can go very broad,
Yeah, very
but
broad.
still be realistic in terms of the characters.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
music really helps.
Yeah, though the music.
Yeah.
Without the music,
It's not.
it's strange.